Wolverine 59 of Gamers X here. Um, so we're not gonna get the Rian Johnson Star Wars trilogy. And look, no matter which day I put this video out, I'm doing this video because of how like, okay, let me just summarize it like this. When the movie came out, I remember there were like tons of bad reviews of The Last Jedi, and I'm like, okay, I'm going through this whole day with the prequels again, and I'm one of the few that actually like the prequels as they went on. I mean, I still remember way back in the day. I still have it somewhere. An Anakin Skywalker action figure. I I remember I remember um, before Revenge of the Sith came out. Okay, well, first off, I I rented um, Attack of the Clones. I liked it, but I was a little bit confused by the ending. But all the more that I watched it, I understood what they were trying to say. Then, as Revenge of the Sith came out, I remember to this day, like, I went, bought Phantom Menace, watched it all the way through, because before that, if you remember, back in the 90s, you had the book on tape or deal, okay? Because I remember I had for The Empire Strikes Back and The Phantom Menace. So I remember, I think I forget which store I bought it from, but all I know is I had the Sony portable cassette player, and I listened to The Phantom Menace while having the book. So what happened was, when Revenge of Sith came out, I finally got to watch The Phantom Menace. Then I remember going, I think it was a week or two after the premiere of Revenge of the Sith. And in fact, I remember I was sick the day that Revenge of Sith came out, but I loved seeing on the news how big it was, seeing the red carpet, and one of the news reporters saying that he was gonna call in sick so he could go see the movie. So anywho, and then yeah, I did go see it. I loved Revenge of the Sith, still do. But the minute that I got internet and seen all the hate behind it, I never understood why. I mean, other than, as the more I understand it, the generation gap. People who grew up around the original trilogy, then like the prequel trilogy. That's my understanding of it, and also of how the midichlorians and all that. So that's why when I saw the reviews of The Last Jedi as it was coming out, I didn't, all I thought was, okay, are we going back to that? Because The Force Awakens got real good reviews, and I watched some of Looper. I mean, I understood the plot and everything, but I don't know, something about it that didn't hit me. But I was like, okay, whatever. He's probably gonna knock this out park. Then I go see it. I'm like, I can see why nobody liked this movie. Like, I didn't. I mean, the more and more I understand why Luke became broken, and the only lesson that I liked about is that failure is a teacher. Like, yeah, failure shows you what you did wrong, so that way you can make right of what you did. I didn't like him talking bad about the Jedi, and that's what made me hate the Acolyte more. It's like, are we really trying to make it that the Jedi are horrible? And because, like, when you think about with the original trilogy, it was about the Jedi were the guardians of peace and justice until the Empire came. And you see that Luke becomes a Jedi. And for him to say in their Hebrews and, etc., it just didn't feel good. And the way that Luke, we see what happens to Luke by the end. Canto Bight I would have gotten rid of. I just don't understand Canto Bight. I mean, did we really have to talk about, gambling in the Star Wars universe? I mean, that there is gambling in the Star Wars universe. Like, you could, I mean, episode 1 was, there's that line from Qui-Gon Jinn, when you gamble, eventually you lose. It's plain simple. We already heard that, and Rian Johnson, let's just say it right out the gate, he had too much free reign over the movie. And as much as I have a disdain for anybody who I have a disdain for producers getting too involved in movies, but at the same time, it's like, sometimes you need that. And the thing is, like, he could have had Dave Filoni. He could have had Jon Faverau, J.J. Abrams help him out. Tried to help him out, figure this all out, but he didn't. And the thing is, when you have somebody who comes from Breaking Bad, and I've never watched the show, but I know that he got real high acclaim for his work on that. or basically, his, like, the Knives Out movies. His that's his genre. That's how he goes at. Whereas Star Wars, it doesn't fit. It'd be like, okay, it would be like, because I've always wanted to make movies of my own, and that'd be like putting me in. That'd be like putting me in. Okay, let's say they wanted to do another follow up to U.S. Marshals, and I know nothing of how that goes. Yeah, it's gonna go bad on my part. It is. It's gonna go bad on my part because if there's nobody to help me go through of how Tommy Lee Jones' character is, or any of the other characters, then it's gonna fall apart, and I'm the problem in that situation because I didn't listen to anybody. I didn't, you know, listen to the guidelines or the notes. I just went all, okay, I'm gonna do this, and here's the movie. And yeah, it's not gonna go well. And that's the problem for Rian Johnson. And it's not to say that it's not to say that them it's not to say that he's not a Star Wars fan. He is, but to play with the genre that's different from what you do, and the camaraderie. I mean, okay, I think he said that he's a Star Wars fan. I'm not sure, but if you are a Star Wars fan, then you should have known. Okay, going into this, you're gonna have to do a lot. Like, okay, like how it said with how Arrow and how Arrow and most of the shows there, when they got a new showrunner, too much free reign, and they went straying from what made the Arrowverse special. And the same way with this. Now, I liked Rise of Skywalker. I enjoy the Mandalorian, all of that. But the thing is, and okay, I enjoy Solo for what it was. I mean, but the problem is that the Last Jedi left such disdain in everybody's hearts that they go onto the channels that talk about everything ill will about Star Wars, and like any channel that's gonna go, hey, bad news about Star Wars, they're gonna go there, and that's what sparks it. But the thing is, though, is like, even as much as The Last Jedi wasn't great, at least with, I'm waiting for Mandalorian and Grogu. I'm hoping to see it. Other than that, though, they do. I mean, they do need to know Rian Johnson wasn't exactly the right person. They should have brought in somebody who knows the product, but also needs help guiding them to what it is. So be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notify bell. Wolverine 59 1 of Gamers X is signing out. Love Archer, have a good one.